That is more like it, guys. Finally, we have had a shocking start to this X4 series. We've had a couple of good games here and there, but all in all, it's been a shit start. I just haven't been able to get on top of my games. My teammates have been letting me down all over the place. I've been struggling to capture objectives. Just staying alive has been a pain in the ass. So it's finally good to get a good game under my belt. And of all maps, Lancing Dam, this is a map that I'm usually not that good at. And so to do well on this map is a real big bonus, because we've still got some maps that I'm quite good at coming up that I'm really hoping I can consistently get a good score on. So we'll see how I do, but to finally get a good score that I did in this game, as you will see, is relieving. It's just very relieving. How's it going, guys? I am TK. Be sure to smash that like button. I don't care if you're enjoying yourselves or not. Hit the like button because I tell you to. That's how I roll. Be sure to give it a like, guys. Let me know that you're enjoying yourselves. And let's go through what happened in this game. So like I say, this is not my favorite map, especially when I first started playing Battlefield. It took me a long time to figure out how to really play this map. And there are a few tips I would probably suggest if you're first starting. This can be quite a difficult map to learn your way around. There's not a lot of cover between objectives, or at least at first glance there isn't. Especially when you're moving from places between, you know, like Delta and Echo or Bravo and Alpha. You've got those wide open hills and things like that, and finding cover can be quite difficult, and so the only way to really get around that is by getting there as fast as possible using vehicles. So trucks in this game, in this map, are incredibly useful, and I use them constantly. Now, one thing I try and do is, if I'm using a truck or a buggy to try and move between objectives, try and park it. Don't just jump out of the vehicle and let it fly off into the distance and stuff like that. Try and leave it next to a doorway, somewhere that you can maybe hide it. Of course, this isn't a big priority, but if you can, try and leave it next to a doorway, maybe right next to the stairs at Delta, for example, or something like that. Right at the bottom of one of the buildings at Bravo, if you're going for there, but just try and keep it close. Don't let it go flying off in the distance, because as soon as you've captured that objective, if you manage to, you can jump straight back into that buggy and head off straight off to another objective as fast as possible. And that is one of the biggest things that you need to do on this map. Moving around can be difficult at first, but once you get the hang of it, you can get some wide open captures and things like that, and you can rake up some big points. But it can be a bit tricky at first, but of course, once you get the hang out of it, it really isn't that hard. Now, what you're looking at today is one run that I had. Now, this is my second and third lives. I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to leave it. I'm not going to cut it up or anything like that, because I just wanted to show you, because this is basically how this whole game played out. Now, I could show you the whole game. It's pretty much just going to look nothing like this. It was really hard-fought objectives, and hard-fought games are really what I want in this series, because that means the games go for longer. If it's a tight game, rather than the final score being 400-0, I would much rather it be 60-0 and we just come out on top. So the ideal game for me is as long as possible, so that I have as much time as I need to get as many points as I can. I want the game to go as long as possible, and also I want to win, basically, because the winning team gets that 3,000 point bonus, and that is a huge benefit. So that can mean the difference between 13 and 16,000 points. It can mean the difference between 1,000 points behind the 14 that I need, and 2,000 points above it. And so those 3,000 points can be crucial, absolutely crucial, and so I really need to win, but I also want to keep it a tight game. So hard-fought games are something that I really want. The only difficult side to a good hard-fought game, as you can probably see here, is that you need to be on top of your game, because objectives can be very difficult to capture. If the opposite team is spreading out really well their defenses, if they're attacking just as much, it can be really hard to pick up quiet objectives and things like that, and you're usually going to have to pick off maybe 5 kills or so before you actually manage to take the objective. And when you're playing by yourself, without any friends, without any squad mates and stuff like that, that just makes it all the much harder, and so it can be very difficult to rack up the points. However, we managed to do that in this game. So the lack of objectives is the biggest thing, but of course, if you're not getting a lot of objectives, you need to fill that space in with kills. Kills were much easier to come by in this game. I say easier, but more easier to find, I think is a better way to put it. Easier to find, dudes were everywhere in objectives, and I just wasn't dying is basically the gist. Once you're not dying, it's usually if I die, I find that there's too many enemies on that area. For instance, if I go to attack Delta, I'm not going to spend 5 lives just trying to romp that objective over and over and over again, because if I'm not capping it, it's not worth my time. There are obviously too many people there. I may as well just head off and try and capture another one. But in this one, I had a few maybe lucky shots, a few lucky moments, a few times where I was just on top of the game. I was shaking at one point. I was just so full of adrenaline. I was having so much fun in this game. I managed to stick alive. I managed to stick around. By the time I'd killed off maybe 5 to 6 people at Delta or Bravo, had a couple of chances and things like that, teammates started spawning in on me. My squad started to fill up, and we just managed to capture the objective. And as soon as we did, I'd find a truck and head straight off to another one, and the whole process just started again. And those hard-fought captures are just going to get you so many points. It was absolutely amazing. Now, I did have a bit of a bad finish in this game as well. I would have liked to hit, you'll see what I get. I won't talk about the score just yet. I'm going to leave it till the end of the video, but I would have liked to push it just a few hundred points more. That would have been really cool. But I've had a bit of a bad run in the sense that there were too many guys around. I didn't change objectives quick enough. I kept trying to push for Delta. It was right at the end of the game. You won't see it in this video because I'm just showing you the highlights of this second and third run. But I was trying to push for Delta. There was a lot of defenders there, but I'd been on such a good roll that I thought, you know, fuck it, why not? I'm gonna go for it. And I kept pushing through. I picked up a few kills, but all in all, I wasn't getting that capture, and so I did change over. I did just end up spawning on a squad mate. We captured Bravo at the very end of the game, and I did get another couple of captures just before the game finished. But if I needed to do that early, and if I'd have done that early, I would have hit, you know, I probably could have got another 800 to 1,000 points. But I didn't do that quick enough. I think I got a little headstrong by the end of the game, but in saying that, it didn't really matter. I was wrapped anyway with the final score. We managed to hit 19,500 points. I was 500, just under 500 points away from hitting 20,000. So like I say, to get 1 or 2 more captures would have been awesome. To hit 20,000 points would have been amazing, especially on Lansing Dam, because like I say, it still isn't my favorite map. Games like Rogue Transmission and stuff like that, I think are a lot easier to move around. I know the map's a little better. I know how they play out a lot better. And so I can move around them more efficiently. I can generally get more captures, more kills, and things like that. Lansing Dam's just never been my best map, so to hit such a good score and to finally have a good game on a shit map like this one was a big relief. I'm absolutely wrapped with that score. Throughout the game, I stuck with the Engineer. I did think about going Assault at one point. However, I don't think I had enough teammates around me. I wouldn't have got enough points healing. I was generally on objectives by myself, which was really difficult, but in saying that, it was getting me a lot of points. I would pick off maybe 4 people on top of an objectives, and then just get that quiet capture waiting for anyone. I picked off a couple of tanks throughout the game. The Engineer was just working absolutely perfectly. As usual, I was using the Ace 21 CQB. This is my favorite weapon in Battlefield 4. I can definitely see why often people aren't big fans of carbines and generally want to go Assault purely for the assault rifles, because guns like the M416 and stuff like that are really suited to me, and I wish I could use them constantly. Those assault rifles are absolutely amazing, and carbines can be a little underwhelming, especially if you've been using assault for a while. But the Ace 21, it's got like a 35 round magazine. It's got some pretty good damage. It's got very controllable recoil. I think I get away with it a little better, and it just suits my playstyle a lot more, and it helps me move around quickly, get those captures, and I have enough bullets to pick off more than one enemy, as long as I can keep that recoil control, which we did. So there you go, guys, 19,500. Finally a good game under our belt. Hopefully we can keep this up. We'll see I don't know what map's gonna come up next. We'll have a look. I'll hopefully have another couple of vlogs for you guys as well. I'm looking to do some of those again. We'll see. I'll see you guys in the next episode though. TK out. Have a good one, guys. Catch you later.